Hi Ryan and Jesse. Sorry to keep blasting you with all this video info, but I'm just so excited. I had a day to like really commit to this, but this isn't necessarily what I'm going to do, but I thought you'd think this was cool. So this is the washing machine, and this is the rotor that's in the back, and I've attached two wires on the bottom. Still trying to learn how to attach it to make electricity, and I kind of have it figured out. There's actually a device. It's really cool. It's like $10. I can get these two things from Radio Shack, and it turns it into DC. And then there's this device. It's like $150, and that turns it into AC. And literally, you plug it in the wall. Anything you don't use, it goes back in the grid and turns your thing backwards. And check this out. Try this prop on my wall, and I decided to put it on here. So I still got to file some stuff on the actual generator, because it's doing this thing where it sticks. And anyway, I thought you'd think that was cool. Now, if I touch those wires, I'd actually kind of get a shock. But anyway, here you go. Things happen. Ryan, hi Jesse. I wanted to show you the first step. Here we go. This was a washing machine. This is the bar, okay? This is the bottom of it, and I completely rewired the entire thing. It took me a night, and I had a short. So now, what I have, I don't have any really good electronic testing equipment, and I kind of broke this just a while ago. But Brandy is shooting, and what she's gonna do is put this wrench on here, and she's gonna, hold on, let me get this out here. Return this and watch the first Callahan electricity ever generated. Ready? Wait, hold something like this. Here we go, go ahead. Can you see it? Ouch. There it goes. First generated electricity by hand. There it is. Okay, that's good. Step one of the Helix wind turbine. It's a 10-foot center pole. My rough plans right now are to make these. These are 8 feet wide, and the Helix part will be 3 feet from here to there, and it'll have an extra foot so I can put wings on the ends to supercharge it. So the idea is the Helix will come this way, then this way, and then this way, and then to that spot, and lastly to the other spot. Man, it might be a little messed up, but we're gonna find out. No, it looks good. It's here, you just can't tell the perspective, and there, and then over to there. When I said that it was okay, it wasn't okay. Okay, so here's what basically happens. From about a foot in, this pole, which is basically just a iron beam, and I used conduit, and I'm hoping it's going to end up being light. This is the main skeletal structure. So from here to there, and then you can't tell that this one is actually ahead of that one. This one, and then it comes to this one, and over there, and then finally down to the bottom. So as you can see, these are kind of, that might help show you. And I'm hoping that'll be enough struts when I fabricate. My idea is to try to fabricate this out of paper mache, starting with string to kind of hold it up. The next thing I have to do is create some semi-round circles. Okay, so my next step is to make these semicircles, and I'm making them. It took a long time, but basically it's gonna be the back side of the Helix design. So what I've done is actually created, using this like 3/4 inch pipe. I may regret this, it's maybe too small, but I really wanted this thing to be really light. But this right here is an overview. I basically cut out a semicircle around the board, and I've marked where I need to cut it. And this is going to be really hard to film and do at the same time, I'll tell you that. And I made like kind of a slot, not even that great, of which you could go through. On top of that, what I've done is create these holes. Sorry I'm going so fast, probably making you guys sick, but it's kind of late. Anyway, so I go like this. I'll have to, hang on a second. Okay, continuation of this thought is, so now what I do is I put my pole in here, and then I take these screws that I put on here. I have one with washers, and I've made some screws so it'll basically hold it steady so I can start twisting it. And as I go around, again, it's going to be close to impossible to do. As you can see, I go like this, and then once I get my mark, I can start pulling it like this. It's close to impossible to do. Okay, I'm moving it, and then I'm going to take a bolt, and I'm going to slide it in here so it holds her steady. Then I'm coming around. Sliding in there. Again, sorry for the shaky camera, this is very difficult to do. And then I'm going to put a bolt here. So what should be happening is it should be up and around. Then I have my marks where I cut it off. Last time I clamped that. But anyway, it gives you a general idea of how I'm doing that. So I made all these semicircles right here, drilled holes in the top of them. And then what I'm doing now is I've tied string to the different things so I'd have a little bit of a guide of what is what. I also made an attachment so this thing would be on the ceiling so I could spin it. So this is kind of what it looks like right now. I don't have a good bearing on it. Let me spin it again. Start getting the idea of how it looks. So this is the Helix frame. I will work on structuring these so they're better. But the idea is, again, it goes like this to this to this, and on this one on the other side, you can actually kind of see it taking shape, where the tube will come from here to there and stopping there. Kind of hard to tell though from all the different angles. Maybe that's a better one. So that is it at this time, and this is how I put the bolts on. They're just basically bolts of the wrong size, and this is an update. I got somebody to my fiance to hold the camera. Thanks you, Brandy. Anyway, this is the vertical access turbine. It's the Helix style, and as I'll be explaining, this is where the tubes will go. We're trying to get an idea how to build this frame. We're thinking of something that's like inspired by paper mache and lots of waterproofing paint or polyurethane or something. We had to put the cross beams in to give it some strength going back and forth, and we got it on the bottom and the top. So, but I think it is ending up with a nice look, and we're hoping there's 5 cross beams. We're hoping that every other one will actually, I don't have a, will actually be strengthened through the other part. If not, we're going to add some support. When you add more support, it doesn't look nearly as artistic, I guess you could say. So that's about it. Anyway, that's where we are so far. Okay, so what we're doing now is, in the video, this looks like a spaghetti mess. You can definitely see it a lot different in the other, in real life, but we have placed these poles. This PVC pipe that's flexible. It's the kind used for conduit though, and we like the way it created curves when bending it, which was really hard to do with the aluminum. So then, in this phase, all along each one of these pipes, I basically lined them up and we duct tape. We'd use electrical tape to hold them on. I think you could use just about anything. And now we're going through and drilling. We replace a piece of tape one at a time, and then we put a screw on. And it's making this actually really strong. So, hey, Brandy, I'm going to step back. Will you spin this?
Yep.
The other way.
Oh,
Here.
Brandy.
Yeah, keep spinning it. That's awesome. Go faster, faster. There we go. A little faster. You can actually see the shape of it now.
Yeah, I got it.
At the same time, we were at Jupiter Studios and we were making our sign letters. Where we are on the Helix turbine, and it's kind of hard to see at this angle because I am so close, but this is the cross beam. No, you really can't tell anything, but what we have done is we took the round PVC pipes, as you can see, and they are all basically screwed in. So they are on all the bars, which made this thing really tall. So the next step that we want to do is, my idea is, that I'm experimenting with, is to take 5-ply hardware store PVC plastic tarp, sorry I'm at a loss of words, and use this to heat it up. So then we came up with the idea of kind of stretching it over, so we're creating these strings, and the way we did it is we went back and forth, and it's really retarded at first, but we're starting to get a like that's pretty bad, but we're starting to get a pattern that we kind of like, and you start seeing this thing grow and emerge. And I'd like to say that we designed this after 100 years of study of the Black Widow spider, but it's not. We're just like winging it. And I'm afraid when I use this plastic, it's going to look like a garbage bag or some kind of crazy contraption. It starts looking kind of alien spaceship last night. And I do want this thing to look good, but I'm also in hopes that if I share this design, that maybe people in third world countries or something like that can use this for really cheap. And we just figured that we could probably make this whole thing out of bamboo and twine. And that might be another thing we do on another day. But this is it for right now, and I hope that helps you guys. This is just common, PVC pipe and twine we're working with, and you've been kind of seeing it develop. Here's what we're doing now. Here's the bottom of this thing, starting to look like an actual cone. And to me, it looks like used garbage, but it's actually working out okay. We're trying to get a final strip of plastic over this, and then we're going to heat seal them and put them together. So go ahead and show what's going on. So we're using 3M spray to kind of stick it together. We have found it's really helped a lot. So in this particular,
we're going to have to go under.
Okay, yeah, this one's a little odd, but like this strip that's there, we actually connect to the other side, put some sticky 3M spray on there. And this is just to hold it so we can glue it together. The idea is we put a sheet on this outside level, and then we come in on the other side and we put it on the inside level, which starts looking like...
It's like paper mache, but with plastic.
Yeah, with vinyl plastic. And it's actually pretty strong with 3 layers. This is like 5 mil. Yeah, the twine is really
key,
helping do that. So here's the other side, which isn't done. And boy, it is really hard to see in these cameras what this stuff looks like. Okay, here is the plastic that's on there. We've got one side, which is the outside. And I still think this looks like a homeless shelter. But I have my gun. Okay, here is the latest update on this wind turbine. We actually got one side of plastic of the 4 sides started. and something really cool happened. Let me spin this so you guys can see it. I'm actually going the wrong way. Actually blows the other way. Hang on. This thing is going to have some torque. And I'm just so excited today because we've been working on it all week. Because, besides it looking pretty ugly with all this plastic on it, I was able to take this fan and actually make it spin. So here's this fan. Let me turn it on. Wait, I have to plug it in. Okay, here we go. We'll try to stand back. Now granted, to give you a perspective, this is the fan, and this thing is 10 feet tall. So here we go. There she goes. And it spins with one fan. So it's light, and my bearings suck because I don't have bearing. It's basically sitting on a metal plate. So if I had another one, it would continue, but it doesn't. So I'm excited. So again, I hooked this up to a generator, which is an old washing machine generator, which is this. And it will spin. And that's what she does. And then it makes electricity. So that is the idea. And there it is. That's the update. Thank you. Here's the... Okay, here is the current state of the wind turbine. And it's kind of cool because it's being pushed by a small fan. So I know when it gets full wind, it should move really, really well. And I got 2 layers of plastic, or a lot of it. And what I've done is kind of like, it's a regular tarp, and I've kind of shrink wrapped it. And that's kind of it spinning. And it's windy outside. I wish I could get it outside so I could test it. I need a frame for it though. Okay, here is the current state of the wind turbine. And it's kind of cool because it's being pushed by a small fan. So I know when it gets full wind, it should move really, really well. And I got 2 layers of plastic, or a lot of it. And what I've done is kind of like, it's a regular tarp, and I've kind of shrink wrapped it. And that's kind of it spinning. And it's windy outside. I wish I could get it outside so I could test it. I need a frame for it though. Video update. Something that happened to us is they stopped making our plastic. And so therefore we ended up having to go to a thicker plastic, but it was actually plastic, not polyurethane. Polyurethane, or the plastic, bends really well. The polyurethane does not. But so what we're doing is we found one that was like 2-ply. I thought you might want to see like the really close-up look of this stuff. And all I'm doing is just kind of going through and trying to heat it up. But if it heats up too much, it actually ends up making kind of a hole. But this is generally the technique we've been using. So now we have this, it's really much thinner and smaller. Or not, just a lot thinner, and we're just layering lots and layers. As he puts a little 3M spray on there, I then come kind of behind with this, and we put the heat on. So I'm starting to think at this time that I'm absolutely insane, because you can't really see it on the videos, but this is actually looking like skin, or some kind of crazy alien creature or something. We're just hoping the paint will kind of smooth it out. Here's an example of a hole that just went in there. But maybe somebody else can take this farther and take old plastic bags that would go in the garbage and the ocean and all that kind of stuff, and actually create things with it by melting them together. Or I'm just crazy. But I'm just telling you, I just had this idea and this is how it's turning out, and we're running with it. It is seriously taking a lot longer than we had originally thought. Okay, wind turbine. Right now, I have learned a lot and made some really bad mistakes. But here's one thing that I had ordered, which is these Nortrac pillow block dealing bobs, and they go onto here. So being that I am not a machinist, and I think most people probably are not, here's what I did. I measured the pipe, and it was 1 3/4. Well, it's actually 1-inch pipe, and it just conveniently is kind of 1 3/4. So being dumb, I bought 1 1 1/4. I'm sorry, 1 1 1/4 blocks, and so it doesn't fit. So I have to find a way to make it fit. So what I did is over in conduit, I found these things, which are actually made to like connect pipes together. But all I know is it fit in here. So what I'm going to do is make it so this one goes on this side, another one goes on the other side, if I could find it. Here's the other one, sorry. And I've been grinding them with this little hand grinder that I have, which is pretty weak. I need to get some real tools. Anyway, and then those go together, and that way I can connect the top of the pipe onto there. Sorry for the shaky cam. And then I have 2 options from there, which is this being my little generator. One is to connect it to directly on top, but not with that adapter, with this kind of pipe, which is 1 3/4, that I put onto here with 2 screws, because again, I don't have any machine welding, but again, nobody else does. So if you're trying to think of a way to get a pipe, I got a 1-inch pipe, which is actually 1 3/4, and I drilled a couple holes in it and put that in there. So that is it. I hope that helps. So I'm going to use Gorilla Epoxy, and I'm going to try to drill it together, because when this turns, it has to turn the bottom of this, which will have a pipe on it, like a 3-inch pipe that I have, and I suppose I will probably put a gear or something of that nature onto there. So that's an example of how it would go under. This will go on a board. Again, trying to do this all with Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware store, and I am learning the value of all these awesome guys who are doing machine work on YouTube, and I got to tell you right now, I'm really impressed and super jealous of those guys, because they are doing amazing jobs fabricating wind turbines out of metal and things. Hopefully I'll be that guy in a year. This is what I'm doing right now. I have cut out these boards. I needed something to mount them on. They're not perfectly symmetrical or anything. I've given up on making this thing look cool. Now I'm down to make it work. So this is that item that I made. You can see it here, and it goes through. I use this doorknob making screw drill bit to grind it through, and I'll put 4 bolts on there. And the reason there's so many holes is I actually messed up the first time. So this spins, and that should spin on the other side, which it does. So this will be the center of my board. So what I'm using is this channel strut. It's 10 feet long. It's kind of, I didn't want to have to cut anything, so that's why I made it like that. I'm sure there's people laughing at how weak I am at doing this. That's okay. You're better. It's cool. Anyway, so I have this for the bottom, and this one for the top. So I made the same thing. What I was able to do is I was actually able to hammer these in after I put a bunch of epoxy on them and glue them, and they're actually really, really tight. And so the idea is this will make a crisscross, and one board will go this way, and the other board will go that way to create my X. So these are basically my plans, the base of what I'm trying to start doing. Use a board there. This becomes the larger portion of channel strut. One will go on the top of the board, one will go on the bottom, like this. The idea is to bring this further down. This creates basically a strong X from here to here. But then what I'm going to do is connect boards from here, or these conduits from here to there. And I'm considering whether I'll make it a circle, so it'll be 10 feet. This is 10 feet. It's not in very good perspective. This is a potential idea if I want to put grids on it, create a circle within a circle. And I don't know if this helps anybody. This was the idea of using truss instead of this channel stuff, and I just gave up. I said I'd rather spend $16 and glue all these things. This is the building next to mine and the size of it, and I think it's 15 feet. I just do not know. So this is kind of a little bit of what I perceive this thing potentially looking at it and yes, it does look like a third grader drew this, but that's okay. All right, I'm having fun. All right, bye. Real quick, I have got this bolted on to there. Something I've noticed to remember future is that this is the actual center, but the bars are going to be off center from this, so I have to create the upper one as perfectly off center in correspondence to these as the other. But that's it. I have this bolted on just like that. Hey, quick update. Here's where I am. This is the first part of the X that I've created. That's the board. I rearranged the actual board. What I'm finding out is that this pole is 10 feet, 6 inches. It's a fence post, and it has a lip right there. So I had to figure out to get it 4 inches above there. So this board could be on, this pole is actually on top. This one's on bottom. Since I can't put the immediate center on axis, I put it off axis. I'm sure other people would have a much better way to do it. This is all I got. And then what I had to do was measure so I'd have enough space, because I wanted to be able to work with it to get that axle so it's off the ground. Right now I only have one pole up at this time, so that's what I got. So these I just measured from the 4-inch point up. This makes any sense. And this is the lip in order to get 4 inches up from there. And that's where I am. And what I'm trying to do is also is the top is make it so the top actually decided to try and invert it to save myself some space and mount the top of the board on the, what is it, the U channel or something like that. So this would save me a lot of space. I just needed like inches, 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch there to get it up. I'm gonna fix this thing so it's better centered. But the idea is to match it so the X will happen at exactly the same place, which on the other one happens right about right here. So I'm going to off kilter this. So another way of saying that is it happens at this angle right about there. So that's what I'm working on. And here's where I'm drilling, taking this post to drill it. And boy, I can't wait to buy like a drill press and things like that. That's it. Over here, again, here is our, what looks like a mummy at this point. And hopefully it'll all work out and I'll like clean it up and get it all together in the end. Documenting a thought. This is the building that we're actually in that I'm going to put everything on the rooftop. It's actually it's a recording studio, and so that's part of the reason my skills are so limited in this whole thing. But as I'm building this, what I realize is that I have only so much space to work, so I have to work in a way that I can kind of build it and then go on, and then like take it apart and go upstairs. So anyway, you know, everyone say hi. And this is the control room. So you come around the corner, and this is what we're building right here. So this is our live room. And there's a sign we're working on, but this is it. So I got 4 poles up, hard to see. And because of my limitations, I want to make this in 2 halves. Basically, create this bottom and then create the top, because I am kind of limited on space, even in this garage area. But I have my X. It's all bolted. Spent a lot of time trying to think of which should be on the bottom, what should be on the top. Some things I should note for myself for the future is the this other joist. I'm calling this the dominant joist. And is it because it is thicker than this other one? So most of my strength I want to put in this basic square, and the other one is going to be less, just to kind of hold it steady. This circle is not actually there. It's just so I can have a visual reference. I made it out of PVC that's turned in a circle of where this thing is going to spin. This is like that, and you can see the poles, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm limited in what I can do, and I'm trying to think of how I'm going to get the top, and it's basically me, myself, and I, so you see how I had to strap these things on chairs. Okay, back to the mummy style helix that I've tried everything, including to put this thing together. Now I am at the point where I have taken this and rebuilt it so it comes in from the bottom, and lined it up so when it sits on the top of this, it will this bolt will come in here, and this will sit off to the side, and everything is lined up. So that is the center, and I have this thing all done. Oh, I'm going to paint all these items also. Hopefully it'll look a lot better. Maybe I'll even cut them to a better size so they match, or even round or something. But right now I have mismatched bolts and all sorts of things, just trying to get it together, because as you can see, I am just very limited in my space. Okay, I've been working all day. As I said, I am in an urban environment. And you can see my barbed wire to the back of my garage. Neighbor Jason, St. Louis University. And up there is where the it will go. Not on top, but there's a second level up there. And that is a building next door that I have to watch out. This is this giant thing. It's 10 feet wide. This is the turbine part that I've been working on. Put another coat of paint on it. I need a lot more. My biggest challenge right now also is that it's actually cold outside. So going into the garage, I'm starting to work on the frame. And here's what the frame looks like. Looks like this at this point. See if I can get a up and downward view of it. And a lot of these truss points are actually, how do I say this? A lot of them are just temporary to kind of hold it down. For the how-to portion of this, trying to get this strut up there was very, very difficult. This is just so I can see where how it's going to spin around, and that's where I'm at. I have a square on the top, and all these angle brackets are just temporary. And what I discovered is this PVC pipe makes a circle, but man, it's not strong enough to hold this. So it's going to be huge, and I don't think I'm going to put this up 10 feet because this thing is 10 feet, and I'm getting a little nervous about it. So there it is. That's the update on the Urban Wind turbine. Okay, so we're going to take a second to note some things. What I figured out is, it's hard to see, but there's a structure. There's this pole here, here, there, yeah, like over there, and up to there. And the way I got this done is the larger truss going that way, smaller that way, and a truss there. Right now, coming from here across is a pole. So that gets my 4 poles, and this becomes the center. All these X's that you see are just to hold things up. Like this, there's a pole from here to there. It's going up there. Obviously that can't exist, but it's just to hold that up. So the way I put this together is, after putting together the base, I put together this as the next step. And I'm trying to remember this for the future. And then I built this thing right here and put these supports there. Then me and my girlfriend basically pushed that thing up on a ladder, and then we screwed them at the base, and then we had a big square. And then we put these side poles so everything would stand up. Then I climbed on the top and put the poles going across that way to hold this up. And I put these top ones up there to hold it steady, but those aren't going to stay either. So the next step is to build the side. And it took me a while to design this, and what I've decided is that in order for the structure to come, not like if this is a pole sitting up and down, in order for it not to want to go this way, left or right, or up or down, I've come up with this design, which is right here. So, measuring from the top, I measured from the top to 2 feet 3 inches, and the bottom 2 feet 3 inches, and then it's like, and that's where our center point ends up, which is there. So the reason these are at an angle is to help keep this pole from going upwards and downwards. So these are my marks from the top, and that's 2 feet 3 inches down, and then coming all the way up 2 feet 3 inches up. And then the center of there, I honestly don't remember. I feel like this was 6 feet and this was 3 feet from that point to be the center, to create this. So from the bottom of the pole to here is 2 feet 3 inches. From here, these are all level, to here, like this axis to here, basically splitting the difference between this and doing that. That's I believe that's 3 feet. I think the distance between here and here is 6 feet, and so it's the distance between the top and the bottom. It's 2 feet 3 inches. Bottom to the top, 2 feet 3 inches, and then this should be 6. So the split is 3 feet, and so this, putting those at angles, kind of create that triangle effect for engineering, because it makes it so, it's the strongest, strongest shape. I am really having trouble explaining myself. Okay, now again, this circle in the bottom is not necessarily going to be there, but I may keep it there just for looks, but it's just so I could see how this thing's going to spin around. So what I did is now we're going to cut our X's here and here in half with other poles. So it's a 10-foot pole. Remember, I didn't want to have to cut a lot, so I made everything 10 feet. All right, so just off the center axis of my block of wood, from here over to there, I have figured out where this and this cross, which is right there, okay, marked my pole in half, measure the distance between the right pole and the left pole, which is right around 7 feet 1 inch or something like that, and then we split that in half. I'll do the same with that, but for this, we split this in half, and I'm using this mic stand as a temporary pole, so I could basically design and see if this is going to work. So the next step from here, will be, I would like to do my longer poles first. I'm thinking this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do this to here, and I'm going to hammer out the center and flatten it. I'm going to find the center, hammer it out, and then put it up there just to make sure it's going to work. Same thing with this one, and then just kind of bend these over. At that point, and anyway, it's going to be kind of hard because I got to get this thing to stay. So I'll use my hands, and they're pretty weak, to bend it and get it positioned, and I will use tape to just temporarily tape these things on. What I found is by taping all this stuff together, I have the option of undoing it, which is what we did in the center, and then I can design the whole thing and then come back and screw it. I'm trying to decide between epoxy, or did some research on epoxy versus welding. I got a bid for welding, and the guy said $750. It seemed like a lot. Thought maybe I could buy a lot of glue. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm going to put the X's in there first, and then put the parts that come upwards and replace this pole. At that point, I should end up with a pole on the top and the sides. Okay, I'm gonna get going, but I just wanted to document. So I'm gonna do the sides. There's 4 sides, and I'm gonna do 3 of them. And when I do 3 of them, so I can get the, I don't know what I'm calling it, the helix wings involved, and that's not completely done either. So I want to put some like actual wings on the outside. That's why I made the pipes longer. It's 3 feet. The helix is 3 feet, and there's an extra pipe. And at the end of the pipes, I kind of wanted to put a big giant wing, kind of like the wings to kind of supercharge it. Okay, and here is the first structure. This to here, that to there, that to there, that to there. Some notes is right here. The bottom of this needs to be lifted. Again, this part will come out, but it's actually, the bottom is above because of that height up here. If I had to do this over again, I would probably build the top so it had all the X's, build the bottom, and then find a way to get a buddy or something to lift that up, a couple people, and then put the other bars in between. Like I would jack that bar up, and then I get 2 ladders and just carry them up and try to find a way to attach it. Be even easier if I had a pulley system to pull it just from the center. But building on the ground and making sure the top and bottom were absolutely symmetrical would probably be a lot easier than what I'm trying to do now. Okay, quick update. We've got the second side. It's hard to see again in this room. So now we have 2 sides, and when you push between, it's nice and solid. So the bottom is a little easier to understand now without the circles and all the extra stuff. And here's Patch the dog. How'd you get in there? There you go. Sit. 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 Good boy. An update to the vertical access urban wind turbine at Jupiter Studios. I'm actually really excited today. And I got a little fan on it, and it's blowing, and we still haven't painted it, but we got the structure moving. It's 10 feet tall, 10 feet wide. I think it's 10 feet long. And this is it. We actually took it apart and put it back together because it wasn't square. So I can get another angle beyond the fan. So, does that make sense? It's kind of hard to see. But it's turning with one little fan. I have a feeling that if somebody sneezes, this thing's gonna turn. Because it's a lot of space. Anyway, there we go. This is documenting to put things back together. We basically got this thing together, and now we are taking it apart so we can move it. So we put some support beams here. This is the south thing. So each pole has its own spot where it's gonna go. There we go, outer support. Good thing this will be on the, okay, this is the southeast side. Okay, so, and this hopefully will be all together. So these bars up here, we got to remember about these bars. That's where they go. These lights are making it really difficult, but as an example, there's one there. It says south, so this is the south side, and then this should be all together when we take this apart. The bottom should be completely together, and we're about to take out the top section so we can move it to the roof. Where this is moving, this is the west top support, And as you can see, this is the one that came from the sides. The east top support is going to come to the side, to the center, which would be here if this were the top. Okay, so it enters there. So it basically looks like comes to this thing, if this makes sense, and to this cross beam, and that's it. Does that make sense? Is this helping? I don't know, Jim. Future, what do they call future Jim? Do you understand?
It doesn't make sense.
This is Jim from the past. This is the wind turbine, and what we've done is unbolted certain areas of it, so we'd have two sides, the center, and it all worked out pretty well. And this is what it looks like right now, but it's in 4 sections plus a few extra poles, and some of them are really, it's really actually really light. It'd be really easy to tote up there, and it won't be that hard to actually assemble together. That's it right there in its current form, and everyone's helping. By the way, this is Henry.
What's up, guys?
Patrick.
Chris.
Chris.
Hey.
Bree.
Hi.
And I am Jim, and we all work at... Oh, did you get a hoodie?
No, I just have a hoodie on.
Oh, okay. I was all jealous and stuff. This is fast motion of us taking down the wind turbine into 4 different parts. I don't know if this would help anyone. Basically, we take the center out and move it out to the garage. And then we start taking everything off in sections. So we start with the top, and we name all different parts, northwest, south, east, so we can see it. So we take off the top, and there it goes. That was very fast. It's early February, and I just wanted to make a video about my thermal space heater. This is the front of my building, and we are in a urban environment, and we have plenty of space up here, but we plan on putting solar panels and a wind turbine up there. But this is the panel, and what it's made up is it's a 4x8 sheet with some insulation and aluminum in a special kind of configuration. I think I can get more heat out of these, but this is what I have so far. And what I have is this garage door on the back, and it's really, really not efficient. And my plan is to get this worked out so I could rebuild this. But all this is one piece of wood on the back. So we wanted a way to make it warm, and we had issues with cracks and things like that. But this is the front of it. To show you what it looks like, this can actually be replaced, these ridges, with actually like a piece of plexiglass or something like that. Looks a lot nicer. Which my plan is to fill this whole thing up with them. So anyway, this is what it is here. It actually says it's 16 degrees outside. I don't have a thermometer to show you, but it's it's cold. And anyway, inside, this is where it comes through. So right now, this is all kind of open because, again, we're planning on rebuilding it. The builder actually did all this stuff. So we just have it coming through the wall, and there's this insulation here. But the fan is blowing. I don't know if you can hear that. It's kind of weird. Okay, so I have this vent on it to try to get the hot air in, and I'm experimenting. But what happens is it works really well because it pulls air from kind of the floor level, and this is kind of the lower part of our building, and then it shoots air out. Now, if you look, this left number here, this is my wife's thermometer. She's not happy about it. And it's 127 coming out. It's 16 degrees out there. Probably in here right now, I'm going to say I just got downstairs to get to work, and I live upstairs. And it is, I don't know, it was probably about 60 degrees in here. I just kicked on the heat. Now, what happens with this is it has this automatic turn on and turn off valve. So to give you an idea, when it gets to be 110 degrees inside the thermal panel, then it turns this fan blower on. So, and then it runs. Right now, it is actually connected to a electrical plug. Trying to show you what I'm doing now. This is the generator portion of a washing machine, which is, I think, I forget the name of it. But the way it works is, it's so much, nobody has really explained this, but you take these 3 wires that are coming out of it, and there's 3 of them after you've rewired it, and there's all sorts of stuff online on how to rewire this particular, it's called a smart motor, and it can turn into a generator. So we basically rewire it, and we would make this smaller. You can Google like how to turn a washing machine into a generator if you're looking for one. But you take the 3 wires and they go into one of these things, and I apologize, I don't remember the name for them. There's a certain configuration which is like this. So for people, I got this from, I think it's yourgreendream.com. And anyway, so those 3, red, yellow, and black, I haven't tried them in different orders, but basically they come in and they go like the input goes 1, 2, 3. Now, something that confused me a lot is there is no negative in a generator. I did not know that. So anyway, out of there, after it gets configured like that, you just, I just connected it to this meter, and I have my drill, and I'm going to drill it so you can get an idea what the sound sounds like. So, and that's all the way on. Okay, so we're set at 250 for DC current, and let me try to get a focus on that. Hopefully you can see this. Now let me turn it on low. So you can see right about there is 50 volts. We're going to get up to 100, so 150, and get it almost 250 volts. And it's going about that fast, which I don't know if it would ever actually be able to go that fast. But who knows? I'd have to really get that thing going. I do have no idea how many amps or how many watts that is right now, unless I looked online. But I just thought that was pretty cool. Okay, here's a video. Same thing. I got the drill hooked up to the washing machine motor with it all wired up. And watch this. So I'm turning the drill, turning this. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, this is my rooftop. I put this flag here a long time ago just to see. Wind is very still everywhere else, but it's really blowing up here. So, it's not very big. It's honestly like 23 feet wide. So, I'm imagining this thing kind of being over here. I'm going to stand on this chair and just get kind of a global view. I'm 6 feet. So this is what the view would be at 10 feet. Turning around. That is the west. I'm sorry, that was the east. That's my neighbor's stuff. That's in a giant building. I'm probably 10 feet up, and that's probably another 7 feet up or something. So I have this great amount of air that comes from there because there's all this view. But it's definitely a less than perfect situation. Okay, looking at this wall. This wall is basically just above my knee. So I'd like to get this up past this wall. Okay, am I recording? Yes. Okay, the purpose of this video is to check what it looks like at 16 feet up in the air. Hey, let's see how it turned out. Hey, this is us hoisting sections of the wind turbine up to the roof. There's the other section. We got 2 up. We don't have the big one. The other section is actually pretty light, not that difficult. Actually, it's a lot of work. What am I saying? This is Patrick, and he's trying to look down. Here's the wind thing. We're getting ready to take it up. Here, show the. We took the bottom and put a pulley on it, and we're gonna winch it up.
So it's a self-contained system.
Yeah,
The frame will support
the bottom of the
weight
frame
it.
doubles as a winch
Yeah.
for the roof. All right. Well,
I'm thinking though, if we had some on the ladder,
Hi, Peggy.
then I could kind of like lift it.
now we have the roof. We've had some time to put it together. Really, this part has gone really smooth. Definitely compared to lifting it up. So there's the center part. Here is the bottom. So what we've done is we put it on its side, and we put it together, and it's gone together really easy. And here's the helix, and then we're about to move it in position so we can get that up. And this is where she is now. Your perspective. All right, we're on the roof. We don't have everything up, but I had to get a shot of this thing on the roof. The wind is so low, so you can see this flag. Okay, now it's actually kind of blowing. So, and it's going. Yeah, it's actually moving. This is the first time this sucker is actually flying.
Yeah, it's moving on its own. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Feel a little breeze picking up. Let's see what she does. We gotta get the side struts in. Okay, let it down to the right a little bit. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, quick note, this is for how-to stuff. I put a couple bricks there. A design problem I had is the bottom, the pulley at the bottom is really, really low compared to here, which I knew when I started, because I was trying to get as much room out of the top of that as possible. And I guess didn't do as good of a job as I wanted. But it's kind of windy out here. And the thing is, like, trying to turn, we just made for some challenges putting it together. Not a lot of challenges. I'm just by myself. I really needed a second set of hands. Anyway, I'm trying to put this last bar on. So you can see it's rocking back and forth in this wind, and there's a lot of torque. It was making a lot of noise as we woke up. So trying to put this piece on is just proved a little bit of a challenge. I probably need to take it off, take it more off. Now I feel like if I wanted to make a better design, I would probably make this in such a way that it all flexes and becomes like a solid pole all wrapped on top of each other, so it could almost be like shrink wrapped in a tube, delivered or something like that, as opposed to all be together. But maybe those sections could all just kind of like be the kind of thing that just unravel, like they're all together but they unravel and they're labeled what goes where and stuff like that. And the same with the top. I think it should be in an X, or the bottom could be in an X that like unfurls, and then the board goes on top, then the cross beams go on, and the poles go on, and everything goes on. But definitely building it on the side was a good thing. So here we go. This is it, like kind of moving and shaking around this really pretty St. Louis day. Can't wait to see this thing fly, though. Okay, here it is. It's kind of a windy day. It's built on the roof, and waiting for a big wind to show you when it like goes really fast and really twists. Is that it? Is that it? Is that gonna be it? There it goes. That's a pretty strong wind there too. I just need to get it up off the ground about 10 feet. Okay, this is really interesting. This is on its side. And it's actually blowing about as fast as it did when it was standing up, which is definitely easier to contain. Maybe it's the kind of chamber effect as it's going between the buildings, but it's really going. It seems like it's really putting out a lot of torque too. I set it up. I don't have a generator on it, but I put some lights on it. Thought you might want to see what it looks like on the roof. If you look down the street, it actually looks pretty cool. It's hard to really see it in this. You just have to see it in real life to see what it looks like.